Now, to talk us through the big issues of the day, joining me at the desk is Alexia Hilbertidou, Forbes 30 Under 30 winner and Girl Boss founder. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Oh, it's fantastic to be here.
Great to have you. Rawdon Christie is with us as well. He's an old hack, former broadcaster, real estate agent, and 60 over 60 winner. Rawdon, good morning. Good to see. No, don't go. Good
to see you.
Good to see you both. Hey, driver licenses. We were talking about this morning because they're changing the rules. Rawdon, did you pass first time? What did you have to do?
We did it in the UK. Provisional. When you turned a certain age, you just applied for it. Then you went out there with your oil plates on, and then you sat the test when you turned a certain age. And I managed to get through first time. It was pretty hard, but I'm a high performer. But I've had my youngest has just finished this process, so we've been through it quite recently, and 5 fails on the restricted, but that's partly down to me because the car wasn't warranted or something like that. So on one of them, so she wasn't allowed to sit her test. But what we noticed is it was incredibly stressful. It was very subjective as to which station, which place you were sitting the test and what time of day you were sitting the test. And these youngsters all know, don't go to that testing station because you're likely to get a fail, and it's all documented, the percentages, whereas zip down there or maybe go out of town and you're going to scream through. The interesting thing though is then moving on to that final full test, by then having done the defensive driving to help her as well, she had decided she was so over she got so worried about this test that she delayed it and delayed it and delayed it. And when she actually did it, it was so easy because it was really just checking. So it was actually all for her, and I think for all of them, it's about how much time you spend behind that wheel.
Yeah.
You don't need that second test, I believe. You make the first one, or you don't need 2 tests. But it's all about getting them behind the wheel for as long as they possibly can be, because that's how they're learning.
Yeah, and what you also don't need is a father who forgets to get the warrant on the car. Terrible. Alexia, have you set your driver's license? How was the process for you?
Yes, I have. Yeah, absolutely. And I think I welcome these changes. I think it's fantastic. It's evidence-based, and I like that they've got rid of the consistent eyesight tests. We're seeing over 25s needing 3 eyesight tests in the span of 9 months. I don't think people's eyes change that quickly. Also, doing away with the defensive driving course. Now, I think in principle we all love the idea that we're good defensive drivers, but in reality, if I reflect as a young person having done the defensive driving course, we're stuck in a school classroom. Half the kids were looking out the window, maybe hungover or still, had fumes in their head from doing burnouts the night before, I don't know. And I was the only one who answered any of the questions. Then you get a test and it's completely open book and you can Google the answers.
Yeah, it's a cash cow, I reckon, that one.
I think it makes parents feel good. And the parents feel great. They've said, I've sent off my 17-year-old son. He's sitting there in the classroom looking out the window. He's going to be a better driver.
But at the end of the day, it's only about reducing the amount of time they have to wait until they do the test.
Yes.
And that's what's actually counterproductive in a way.
Absolutely. And there's research that's showing by putting them on the roads faster, overconfident because they've looked out the window for, a few hours or a couple of weeks, that they actually are more dangerous drivers, and there's actually research that shows that. So I think get rid of it, and what they've brought in instead, which is harsh punishments for demerits, and also, being really strict on those alcohol rules. That's what's really going to make our roads safer.
Because the other thing, I did a defensive driving course, and the thing that I learned was if you're going a bit wobbly, don't necessarily slam the brakes on. You should try and steer your way out of it. Did you ever get taught that, Rawdon?
I did a defensive test when I was a teacher, when I was driving youngsters around in a minibus quite a lot. And that was part of it, but that was really about avoiding the fact you were ever going to slam the brakes on. That was all about watching what's coming from left, right and ahead, so you never got to that situation, which was actually quite... And the guy who taught us, he took us out on day 1 and said, how's your driving? I said, I'm a brilliant driver, you're going to love this. And I was perfect, it was seamless. And at the end of it, he goes, no, you're not. Because when you're having to slam the brakes on, it's because you're not watching.
Yes.
Anyway, that's.
But also the buses. You know how you don't have to wear a seatbelt on a bus? Isn't that weird? Because that's presumably why you wouldn't want to slam the brakes on. There's all the kids that go flying through the windscreen.
That wouldn't be a good look.
No.
Yeah.
Weight loss drugs, Wegovy, the Pharmac is looking at funding this. Good idea, do we think, Alexia?
I'm on board. I think it's fantastic to give these weight loss drugs to people who do have lifelong chronic issues with obesity. I think it's tempting to say it's the easy way out, but why not give people an opportunity to actually uplift themselves, uplift their families, and step out of obesity? Obesity is a chronic issue in this country, and this is a solution. And hey, look, it may be the easy way out, but do we want the hard way out, which is that we have to bury our loved ones 20 years earlier? I'm Samoan. I'm also a Pacifica young woman. We see 2/3 of Pacific young women are overweight, and I see that chronically in the community. So I'd love to see more families and parents have access to this if they choose to.
Rawdon?
For me, it's about the economics. Is this actually going to save our health sector huge amounts, and also just keep a productive workforce together for far longer? It's simple economics to me. If you're going to be preventing the extraordinary cost associated with dealing with obesity-related issues down the line, then it's a no-brainer. The concern I have, though, is and I guess this is how you apply it, because at the moment it seems like quite these drugs are for people who've got a bit of money, so maybe it's more of a vanity thing, or maybe it is a quick fix. But there's no doubt if it's going to save our health sector big time in the future, it's a no-brainer.
And we're seeing about $2 billion in some of the articles potentially the cost of obesity, of diabetes. So this is a really good way to make a more productive workforce as well, a healthier workforce, and then also to have a happier workforce. So yeah, it's great for the economy. And I think the concern is that people may stay on it for a long time. I saw Oprah. She
looks amazing.
Don't you have to stay on it for? Don't you have to stay on it forever?
Well,
Isn't
well,
like
yeah,
pretty
well, that's the thing.
weight loss?
Pretty much.
That's the thing. Oprah went on it and she lost all the weight, and then she decided, you know what, I'm going to test my willpower, and she got off it, and then she piled all the weight back on. And I thought, you know what, Oprah, now she's back on it again. I thought, you know what, Oprah, you've been dieting for longer than I've been alive. If anyone deserves to stay, on the weight loss drugs and actually be free of it, she's been dieting for about 50 years. I think, why not? So it's a bit like blood pressure medication. You get on, and often you have to stay on.
If it's good enough for Oprah, it's good enough for us. Guys, good to have you both on the show this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And see you again next time. That was Forbes 30 Under 30 winner and Girl Boss founder Alexia Hilbertidou, and Rawdon Christie, former broadcaster and real estate agent.